right? And then which finding, if true, would more strongly support the conclusions? This is something I think we started 2 or 3 questions we have done. I guess so. And with that underlined section. So within this, you have supporting type and weakening. At least you get 2 or 3 questions midway. So it's again, the rule is very simple. You need to read the passage. And understand there's midway at the end of the passage, you'll find an argument or a claim, okay, or something that has conclusion. You will find an argument at one side of the passage. You will find an argument, okay, or you might find a conclusion or a hypothesis or a claim. Any of this. Now, this have to be justified, okay, and yeah. So there is something called evidences waiting for you to check on it, okay? Evidences in the form of reasoning. So there will be an argument in the question or a conclusion or a hypothesis or a claim, and evidences are all scattered over there for you to understand. And then these evidences or reasoning are the one which that lead, that are, that those will be leading to your answers. But between leading to the answers and the argument, conclusion, hypothesis, there is some gap in between these two. There's a big gap or some sort of assumptions will be there, which are not valid. They're not justified. So the justification have to be done by you. And the more you, let's say for strengthening questions, this assumptions, the gap is, you have to find the exact answer and fill that gap. That means the gap gets narrowed by finding the right answer. Okay. And weakening question is like the assumption, the negative or the opposite of the given argument. If you find in the answers, in the answer choices, basically you are increasing the assumption in the weakening part. Whatever you have read in the passage, quite opposite will be there in your answer choices. Again, there are two possibilities of weakening argument. We will work on that right now. Guys, what happened? Come on, say some yes or no's in the chat box. Everyone say yes. Say something else. Put a smiley. I need a smiley. Oh God. I'm not getting that energy. Come on. Give me some energy. Give me some ray, guys. Not S or Y. Yes, smiley works. Bio Mitra, we started the session. Wake up, dude. Wake up. Vishnu, Dhriti, thanks on that. Those are beautiful smiles and gave me a lot of energy. You know that glucose ad where the sun draws all that energy, right? With that straw. So you guys have to give me that. I want to draw energy from you guys. Let me see how potential are you to energize me. It takes like 1,000 people to energize me. Let me see if your smiles can make me that. Thank you, Veda. Now let's move on. We are working with both supporting and weakening argument type of questions. Now here comes your question. This is a strengthening type of question. How do I know this? How do I identify? Look at this. Which finding, if true, most directly support? That means it's a strengthening question. The researcher's hypothesis. Hypothesis is some sort of predictions. Okay. Hypothesis is maybe the researchers have predicted something, some predictions. All right. First thing first, we will never look at our options. First, we'll look at the passage. Am I clear? Take time and you have to tally which is that one option that is actually adding strength to it, adding more emphasis to it. That supports the claim. Here is your claim actually. The researchers hypothesize means they predicted that the plants depend on dissolving underlying rock with these acids. Okay. All this is, all that information, just Just that you can do quick skim reading. So they're talking about some sort of plants, two plants of the so-called family, not much of our requirement because that's not the claim. All right. So they're speaking about the researchers hypothesized, they guess that the plants depend on dissolving the underlying rocks. So these plants, sorry for my bad drawing, but these are plants. Okay. Chalo, this is your rock. And they have some cluster of fine, some roots have, edges have some fine hair-like projections. Okay. And process not only creates channels for continued growth, but also release phosphates that provide vital nutrient phosphorus to these plants. Okay. So cluster of fine hairs. This is what the fine hairs, and these are the plants. This is the rock. Wow. I got 3 elements here. What next? Further analysis indicate that these hairs secrete malic and citric acid. Okay. I get it. Fine. So basically these roots are releasing something, some acids. Okay. So I know this is horrible, but try to get it. Ram also has an answer, Anish. Wait, let me draw it properly. Okay. So, what's your answer? Ram, that's incorrect. Anish K, that's incorrect. Why? First of all, check your answers, check your statements. Are they matching? So what is the question? What is the claim? The claim says that the plants depend on this dissolving underlying rocks. Here. There are acids being released in this process and create spaces for the roots, and they release this so-called phosphorus. This is the claim. Now, looking at, let's go with A. Let's see what happens. Other species in are found in terrains. Why are we bothered about this? This is other species. They're clearly mentioned 2 plants. Okay. So A is absolutely incorrect. That doesn't fit to our bill. Why though? Though means even though. So the minute any sentence starts with transition, you should be alert. Okay. It's definitely not going to be our answer. Both secrete citric and malic acids, each species, which species are they talking? Produce the acids in different proportions. Blah, blah, blah. We don't need this. Where is it mentioned? Is it supporting? Is this answer supporting anywhere of the claim? Huh? Chalo, Venkat, very good. Shabash. The roots of B, carving means what? What do they do? Right? They dissolve new entry points into rocks even when cracks in the surface are readily available. Even though there are, they're guessing that these so-called plants are dissolving the underlying rocks, especially with those acids. Okay. Process not only creates channels, means already there are some sort of cracks. But what do these plants do? They are dissolving some of those underlying rocks, creating some new entry points, even when cracks in the surface are readily available. So greedy they are. And that's what they have. They have to exist, right? Survival of the fittest, isn't it? Now let's look at D. Those who mark D. For you, it is the sad face. Okay. Those who mark C, you can mark happy face because that's correct. You guys absolutely understood the claim and you now got evidence and reasoning that leads you to the answer. So the why option D is incorrect? Thrive. Thrive means what? They try to, even when transferred to the surfaces, blah, 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 blah. What is all this? We don't need this. Hey, this is pretty straightforward. So those who mark A, B, and D, wake up. Your answer is D, C. Clear, everyone? Venkat? Good. Your answer is C. Good, correct. All right. Mitra, what's your answer? All right. Okay. Ram, no. Anish, correct. Venkat, C, correct. Why? In this class, only Venkat is there. Huh? Go. Okay. Manohar, that's good. Good. So how many? 27, 26. I just got only five answers. Cool. Is this clear? Now let's do one more. Shall we do one more? Yes or no? The more you practice, the better you become. The more you ride your bicycle, the better stunts you do on it, right? The more you scrape your knees, the more darker it becomes. And that becomes a memory for you. All right, look at this. Again, if which finding, if true, would most directly support the researcher's claim? All right, okay. And by the way, your claim is always at the end part, end sentences, okay? Yeah, this is like just introduction to the topic. But read, take a minute to read. But skim read. The minute you find claim, hypothesis, slow down and start reading it properly. Umar, okay. Hmm. This much of time you're taking per question? Huh? Okay. How come? Many archaeologists will tell you to categorize you that categorizing evacuated fragments of pottery by style, period, what objects they belong to relies not only on one standard criteria but also instinct developed over years of practice. Acha, chalo. In recent study, however, okay, researchers trained a deep learning compute. Oh, right. Basically, these archaeologists are super duper experts, in categorizing those evacuated. What is evacuation? Oh, sorry, excavated. What's wrong with me today? Huh? Chalo. Mitra, that's incorrect. All right, so categorizing excavated fragments of pottery. So these so-called experts, archaeologists, have this expertise on working on categorizing excavated fragments of pottery by their style, period, and what objects they belong to. Relies not only on standard criteria, but they have this instinct, because they're experts in it, so many years of experience they developed. They have this instinct. They do not need any gadgets, actually, isn't it? People who are manually have done certain things for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. You can't teach them how to swim because they're born swimmers, right? It's just like that. In recent study, however, researchers trained a deep learning computer model, maybe like AI. Let's understand it something like AI. Okay, this is the bacha in our times. So what to teach now? The person is already an expert, but AI model on thousands of images of pottery fragments and found that it could categorize them as accurately as a team of experts. Also, AI versus archaeologists. The human versus what? Deep learning technology. This question is always there, trending right now. Some archaeologists have expressed concern, naturally, because their job will be taken over, isn't it? That might, again, this kind of helping verbs or model verbs should be highlighted. Might be replaced by such computer models. But the researchers claim that outcome is highly unlikely. Acha, see, so much of smoke before fire, something happened, right? They're unnecessarily bothered, tension party. Okay, basically that thing will happen like that. Nobody can replace an expert man, no matter how many, technological advancements come. Nobody can replace an experienced person, right? So because an archaeologist can do multiple things all by himself because he has something called natural instinct. He has an instinct. Looking at it, he can easily identify what it is. But for any AI or deep learning, somebody has to feed some information into it. If that information is not available, it cannot function. Pretty understandable. And it is like unnecessary to bother that this so-called deep learning tools can replace archaeologists. So what's your answer? I find all mistakes. Guys, what is happening with you all? You're not focusing. Not focusing at all. Why is it A? Acha, playing with this or that, right? Ye nahi to wo nahi to ye. Tukka. Which finding, if true, would most directly support the researcher's claim? And most of you are marking A, which is absolutely incorrect. In researcher's study, the model was able to categorize the pottery fragments much more quickly. Why do we need that? Why do we need that quickly, slowly? Is there any such claim over here? It is doing accurately, not quickly, slowly, gently, and all. It is not describing the speed. Okay, guys, focus. You're losing this. Okay, imagine this is your real test. Even we are in the class. So no, this is irrelevant. Now B's. Who was that B guy? Anish, Mitra, no. You're not accurate. In researcher study, neither the model nor the archaeologists were able to accurately categorize all. Hey, Bhagwan, oh no. We don't need anything that is not relevant to the claim. What is the claim? The claim says, this is your claim, is replaced by such computer models. Both are doing their job. But there is one drawback with the so-called model, okay, found that it could categorize just like the archaeologists. And they have expressed some concern also, maybe one fine day, these computer models might replace them. But the outcome, this is not true. Unlikely means this is just a, what you say, rumor. It's just a rumor, that's it. Nobody can replace experts, right? These tools are helpful for these experts, but nobody can replace the natural instinct, the human instinct. Now, come on. First two are incorrect. Then what? Come on. Let's look at D. A survey of archaeologists showed that few of them received dedicated training. Irrelevant. We are left with C. What does it mean? A survey of archaeologists show that categorizing pottery fragments limits the amount of time they can dedicate to other important tasks that only human experts can do. So, yes, I know we are not finding this one directly in this part, but look at the other options. They're absolutely irrelevant and there is no accuracy in these options. Only thing that you're left is C. Now, C can be your answer. Why? Because, see, why is it highly, they can replace. What could be the possible reasons for replacement? See, because these archaeologists, have limited time, but AI, it can do even night when the archaeologists are sleeping, then also it is processing the data, right? That is one benefit. That is one limit for humans. They have instinct, but there is time limit, isn't it? Which deep learning tools, they are like 24/7, right? There is no stop button. Correct, Veda. Am I clear, guys? Rest of the A, B, and D are irrelevant. D is absolutely gibberish. It has nothing to do with our passage, right? Now, looking at B and A and B, that information is not relevant. Some parts of the information is there, but not exact information. And we are left with C. The only reason we can have here is the showed categorizing pottery fragment limits the amount of time they can dedicate to other important. They might probably have their life because of this so-called work. They're not able to focus on other aspects. But deep learning is like deep learning models are like they just work, work, work. There is no limit to it. There is no stop button to this. All right. So C is your answer. It's not absolutely straightforward answer, but when you cross out the irrelevant information, you would certainly come to your correct answer conclusions on correct answers. Am I clear? Chalo, say something. Okay, good. Now let's move on to next one. Since you guys are not really yourself, be yourself. Okay, stay focused. You're making all silly mistakes. Okay. So these are few of those questions for the practice sake. And by the way, these are from Khan's Academy, and some are from the PDFs of your Khan's Academy. Okay. All right. And then some are from the old test papers. Okay. Now here's the weakening part. Till now, you understood how to support your claim, right? So for that, you would be looking for such kind of evidences that will narrow down the gaps. Okay, that will fulfill that. Okay, this will add on to the claim, and the reasoning is leading you to the answer. Now, what is weakening? The word itself is understandable. Something that is weakening means what? There are two criteria to weaken an argument. I'll tell you when. So these are your phrases, very common, which finding, if accurate, would undermine or directly undermines the hypothesis. Okay. Now, if you look at this, there are two things that you have to keep in mind. Okay. If something increases, the opposite should happen. Your answer should give opposite answers, okay, which can weaken the claim over here. Here something, let's say something says increase, but in your answer, you should look for that answer which talks something which will reduce it. Okay, quite opposite to the claim or argument or discussion or conclusion. Now go ahead and look for the answers. You should look for answer that says absolutely opposite. Okay. Acha. Anish. A, B. What is it talking about? Okay, where is the claim over here? Dinosaurs, with exception of the ancestors of birds, disappeared. Take time, take time. No, Anish, that's not correct. Anish S, Anish K, Shri, incorrect. Information you will find at the end of the sentences. Because high metabolic rate has generally been suggested as one of the key advantages when it comes to surviving mass extinction, some genetic paleontologists have proposed, what did they propose? That birds survived while non-avian dinosaurs did not, because birds increased metabolic capacity. So how do I draw my conclusion? What's my claim over here? My claim over here, let's say my metabolic capacity, okay, if it is high, if high, then what should you look for? Then changes. Chances, sorry. Chances of survival should be opposite. If it is high, chances of survival should be. So look for those options where the metabolic capacity is high and chances of survival should be low. That will weaken the statement. No, not at all. None of your answers are correct. Why you guys are A and B? Are you like what? Stop dating A and Bs, okay? Come to D. D, because D is the one which is clearly telling you opposite or weakening the claim that birds survived while non-avian dinosaurs did not, because birds increased metabolic capacity. If there is increase in metabolic capacity, the survival chances are low. That's exactly what D speaks about. Many dinosaurs with high metabolic rates went extinct 65 million years ago. Why is it A? Acha, one of you unmute and tell me. Anish K, can you tell me why your answer is A? Why you thought of A? May increase, decreased over time. What is the claim? The claim clearly says if the metabolic capacity is high, chances of survival should be low. That's how you can weaken your argument. Look for opposite answer. Where is it? How does it? No, here, look at this. Because high metabolic rate has generally been suggested as one of the key advantages when it comes to survival. Don't read this part. Okay, this is just some information. This is your claim. Some genetic paleontologists have proposed that birds survived when non-avian dinosaurs did not, because the birds increase metabolic capacity. This is your claim. Okay, and you should look for the opposite directional answers, responses. The metabolism of non-avian dinosaurs may have decreased over time. Is there any mentioning of overtime thing? No. You should either look for this type or you have to look for when MC is high. That's what the claim says. And you should look for answers. Then there is no effect. Two criteria, no effect. No effect on MC. Even though the MC is high, there should not be any effect. Find any such answers. You have to look for answers that says the chances of survival is low or no effect will be. There will not be any effect in the survival. Then only your answer is correct. So that's how you weaken the claim. Am I clear? Is there any doubt over here? Birds have some of the highest metabolic rates. Why do we need this? Non-relevant. Because anything that starts with because, don't believe that, okay? Because we do not have any sentence or clue that starts with transition, okay? Reason giving. We are supposed to strengthen or weaken. Don't give any reasons for it, right? And the metabolism, this is incorrect. So according to our claim, if MC is high, survival rate should be low or no effect. That's how you have to find your answers. Am I clear? These are called weakening. You will get at least 1 or 2 questions. One more, two, go. Focus, guys. Something opposite should happen in the answers, choices. Okay. Can anybody draw some conclusions after you read this? Because this is little complex to understand. Draw some pictures if you want for yourself to draw some summary or conclusions out of this. Yes. इतना सन्नाटा क्यों है भाई? Are you guys there? Shh. Yes, come on. Enough struggling with yourself. Come on, speak out. What did you understand? Come, wait, let me do this. Dhriti, unmute and tell me what did you understand? Give me this entire summary of this. No, 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 no. Wait, don't give answers. No, Mitra. No. When digging for clams, their primary food, okay, anyhow, this is just explanation. Sea otters damage the roots of eelgrass plants growing on the seafloor. Okay, some information. Near Vancouver Island in Canada, the otter population is large and well established. Yet, please underline these keywords, okay? Yet means even though, or something negative. The eelgrass meadows are healthier than those found elsewhere off Canada coast. To explain this, here you have, this is where you have to look for. The conservationists, compare, they did some comparison, the Vancouver Island meadows. Okay, so we have something called as VI meadows. Okay, some Vancouver meadows. What do we have in Vancouver meadows? Have more diverse, so they have more gene pool, GP. Clear? Next, than others do. Okay, so this guy again made some predictions that damage to eelgrass roots increases. Okay, if there is any damage in the eelgrass roots, this increases the plant's rate of sexual reproduction. Oh, hey, I get it. So what do I get it? So with the damage of this roots, there will be increase in the plant's rate of sexual reproduction. So something falls. So when there is damage in eel roots, okay, this leads to increase in SR. SR is your sexual reproduction in the plants. Okay. This in turn, again, now one more time, this in turn means the sexual reproduction thing boosts what? The genetic diversity, GD. So much of complex, which benefits again, which benefits means who is benefited? The meadow's health. So the meadow health increases. So we have few claims over here. We have something called Vancouver Island meadows, where the gene pool, everyone incorrect. Stop guessing incorrect answers. You're not drawing conclusions properly. We have Vancouver Island meadows, which have highest GP, okay, highest or more diverse, okay, more diverse GP, okay, than others, than some other types. Now, that's one claim. This is one, number one. Step two, what is step two speaking about? Now, what happens is this so-called guy has guessed or did some predictions that if there is any damage to this eelgrass roots, that increases the plant sexual reproduction. So there is another claim over here. Something falls, something increases. Okay. Now, this so-called sexual reproduction in plants is in turn means what it is doing, what is the consequence of it? It is boosting the genetic diversity. Okay. And on now what happens, another one, finally what happens? This is benefiting the meadows. Okay. Because of the genetic diversity is good, the meadows are healthy. I can draw some conclusions like that. Now let's look at our answers. B definitely is not our answer. Let's look at A. At some sites in the study, some sites, we already know the locations, right? Eelgrass meadows are found near otter population that are small and have only recently been reintroduced, blah, blah, blah. At several sites, okay, several sites, not included in the study. Come on, why are we studying something that is not even included? It is clearly given here, right? All the locations are clearly mentioned. There are large, well-established sea otter population, but no eelgrass meadows. Why are you looking at such kind of options that even doesn't match to a requirement? Next, at several sites not included in the study, eelgrass meadows health, all right, we need health, correlates negatively with the length of residence and size of otter populations. Do you think that's the correct answer? Acha. Ram is giving me two chances. Ma'am, C or D. Acha. Aisa, you do this? Do this in your final test. Okay. At some sites in the study, I'm going with C. Why? But let's see. Or look at D. Why A and B are not correct? Is it justified? Well-established sea otter population, but no eelgrass meadows. No, it is not there, right? We have some meadows which are healthier and all that. We are talking about these eelgrass only, okay, which benefits the meadows health over eelgrass roots, all these meadows. At some sites in the study, the health of plants unrelated to eelgrass, where is that unrelated? Correlates negatively with the length of residence and size of otter population. This is at some sites and this is at several sites. I understand Ram has come to two conclusions. Ram, when you're in doubt like this with two answers, you should go back to the passage one more time and clarify yourself. That's the only way to get correct answer. And by the time if you see that there is more weightage to one point, let's say C, okay, is it at several sites or is it at some sites? Please go justify it in your passage. You will find your answers over there. Okay. In case of dual answers, when you're stuck at dual answers, go back to the passage. It clearly indicates you didn't understand one post. Something is missing out. Hence, you ended up with two answers. Okay. Let's look at this. What is it saying? At several sites not included in the study, eelgrass meadows health correlates negatively. So basically, what is your final conclusion? The damage to eelgrass roots increases the plant's sexual reproduction, which boosts genetic diversity and which makes the meadows healthier. So you should look for opposites, opposite, not the one which is supporting. You're missing out. Come on, guys, this is undermining. Something that will speak something opposite to the given claim. So, Anish, as per your analysis, it is specific, right? But we need something opposite, isn't it? To weaken it. Oh, okay, it's fine. Okay. So at several sites, why? Because we have to find answers which will be opposite to the given claim. Okay. Here there are only few. And the sites here are near Vancouver Island in Canada. And then you have the so-called meadows, Vancouver Island meadows. Okay. So there are some sites basically, handful of sites. So we have to look for answers which are at opposite to. It's not included. Why? It is included. It's clearly talking about, this is talking about several sites. And it is talking about eelgrass meadows. This, what is it talking about? This eelgrass, if it is damaged, that will increase the plant's rate of sexual reproduction. So you have to look for answer which will talk opposite to this claim. You have to look for answers which have to be, which is speaking opposite point for the given claim. Clear? The only thing I can see here is at several sites not included in the study, eelgrass meadows health correlates negatively with the length of residence and size of otter population. And here some sites, actually we need this. This is the strengthening part and this is the weakening aspect of it. All right. Shall we do one more? If this is clear. So for weakening questions, you have to look for those answers that will weaken the given claim. Okay. Right. Okay. We'll do some more as part of your practice. Okay. So a quick recap, all you have to do is read the passage, skim read the passage, the very beginning part, wherever you find hypothesized or proposed or concluded, that's where you should be alert because that's where your claim is or conclusion is or an argument starts from. Okay. And you should do some logical predictions. Okay. So this is this. So I think this is what he wants to do. And now you should look for direct evidences. Let's say if you are held up, don't go with answers which have only half correct answers. Okay. Only the first part is there and the second part is not there. And anything that is talking opposite, that's needed for the weakening part. Anything that is supporting in your answer, then that is going to be your answer. Okay. Now let's look at the data-based questions. The class ends at 9:10. Clear? Okay. So anybody have like previously have attempted evidence-based questions? Have any questions specifically with these type of questions? By the way, you need not have any prior knowledge about graphs and any sort of data related questions. You'll have at least 3 to 4 questions. And by the way, let's say you did very well in your module 1, then you can expect to encounter these type of questions at least 5 to 6 in your module 2. So that's an indication that you did pretty well in your module 1. Okay, these are a little bit challenging. Okay, so how do we work with this? Of course, this is how the statement will be effectively using data from the graph or the table. And your job is to just skim read the introductory material and then slow down towards the end, because the end part will suggest you what are you supposed to do. Okay, and highlighting those words, keywords, just to find the information that you're looking for. And graphs sometimes have nothing to do with your answers, but just to have tally whether your answer is correct or not, you would look at the graphs, make some conclusions out of it, and when you satisfy, you move on to the next question. Always read the last sentence and the question, because these places tell you what you have to look for. Either you are looking for a claim, conclusion, or a theory. Got it? So very easy. You don't have to worry about any math part or statistics part of it. Let's see. So here, this is the last part, emphasize. So he's trying to emphasize that in some regions, honeybee populations had not only rebounded by 2020, but also reached their highest level in 60 years. Now you have to match to that information over here. Which region included in the graph should be the student's site to support this claim? Okay, now what are we talking about? So we have 4 continents and we have one of this type of honeybee. What's the meaning of rebounded? Yes, what's the meaning of rebounded? Coming back, yes. So they bounced back. Means maybe their population has completely declined and they again bounced back. They hit back. The population rate has escalated. So what does it mean? The claim is clearly telling us one thing, which is what? They had rebounded. Means you will find increases after decrease or after decline. So the graph fell down and it bounced back. So you can look at the graph also, you can tell that. Okay? That's one criteria that you have to fulfill. And the next thing is they had reached their highest level. 2 things you have to justify while looking at the answers. Their highest level since 1960. How many years is that? So that as part of the unit of pollination, a biology student is researching and all that. Although many wild bee populations have continued to decline, okay, something fell down. See, this is what I was talking about. The number of honeybees has actually increased on every continent. All right. The student wants to emphasize, specifically, he wants to pinpoint that in some regions, honeybee populations had not only rebounded, that means not only bounced back by 2020, but also reached their highest level in 60 years. Which continent can you see in 2020, you can find one such, so the dotted one, can you see by 2020? Huh? It has completely escalated, increased. Isn't it? The dotted one. The big lines is Asia. Europe is this short dash. A long dash is America, and the small dots are Africa. So tell me. So 4 lines are corresponding to the rise and fall, and 4 continents are there. In 1960, what's the situation with Africa? It was hardly below 10, right? And it steadily increased. And there was one point it fell down and it bounced back. So those who marked Asia, which is what? D, that's incorrect. Look at those 4 countries where you find, look at the graph, try to match it. Where you find there is fall and rise. There's fall and rise. This is like growing, right? Where is fall? This is going like this. And if you look at this, the long dotted lines, this is Europe. It fell down and it slowly increased. So there is increase after decline. Which continent is that? Good, Saisha. Good. Perfect. Why A? Because you can see dip in 2020. And the highest is, how much is that? 20 million. Huh? It has struck 20 million. So there was dip and again rise. So did it justify for rebound? You have to see that the graph falls down and again bounces back, right? Okay. Is this clear? So you, after reading, you have to make your own, paraphrase it in your own words, rephrase it in your own words, not paraphrase, rephrase in your own, make some summaries, and then you have to decide, okay, this is what my criteria is. And based on this criteria, I should look for my answers. And as a last step, you should also match your answers to the graph just to justify whether your answer is correct or not. Okay, go ahead. So this is the last part that you have to look for. So what is concluded? Anish, perfect. Very good. Chalo, the last question, the closing question, somebody answered correct. What's happening today? Not, the stars are not shining on you guys. The star performers in the class making wrong, all incorrect answers. Yes, that's correct. C is your answer. Why C is your answer? Anish, unmute. Anish K, unmute.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, unmute and explain us why C is correct.
Ma'am, it's written that print books offer greater appeal. So, in whichever option there's a higher percentage in print books, that's the answer.
Okay. So basically, most readers, good. That's exactly what is your claim. So most readers, that is more than 50%, prefer print books. So what is the, more than 75%? That's preferred print books for reading to a child, and more than 60% preferred. So overall, more than 50% people who are preferring print books. and remaining are contradicting the statements, right? They don't fit also. A large majority of readers seeking immediate access. No. Percentage of readers who choose format based on the variety of titles, not at all. That's not even there in the passage. So C is your answer. All right. So more to come. A lot of practice is needed for, I think you guys are struggling with the weakening and the strengthening questions. So I shall see that you get more practice questions on that. And we shall discuss the next coming sessions with inference type of questions that is most logical, pretty easy. All you have to do is there will be certain arguments, write some bullet points. That's more like, I call it as connecting the dots kind of questions. Okay. So for every type of question, I have my own version of titles for that. So it makes easier for me. Whatever rule I apply, I will just name it that. So that's my connecting the dots type of question. Okay. So there are certain passages there. You have to draw some bullet points. From that bullet points, you have to infer something out of it and match to your given options. Pretty easy. So I think big picture questions are something that are challenging. Often students make mistake with the weakening type of question because all they know is they're looking for an answer that somewhere has to be negative, that is opposite, or there is no effect. You have to look for such kind of evidences that actually weakens the given claim. So for that, read the passage, write your own summary, and then try to look for answers, either that supports your answer or that weakens your answer. Am I clear? So that's all for today. We shall meet on Wednesday and Friday again. So that's it.